What's up, world? This is Levi Craig with another watercolor chaos speed paint video. This one I'm doing of Invader Zim, and I'm starting off doing that explosion in the background with a warm color scheme, yellow to orange to a magenta and then purple. Really like the energy that gives off, and I'm already doing some dripping. I love the dripping effects that you can do in watercolors. Trying to do this with the yellow going into the orange, and you can see I did a little bit of an orange dripping through that yellow. You got to make sure before you do that dripping it's dry. That's probably the hardest thing to do with watercolors, is understanding when it's dry and when you can layer it, because if it's still damp or if it's still wet, it's going to bleed and create a gradient effect, which is really cool. That's what a lot of people like. Right now I'm doing kind of like the silhouette stuff. Once again, with that explosion, I want to make sure I'm not painting in the areas where it's not supposed to be. So I'm playing around with Gur now, where I had left that area open because I wanted the Gur to be kind of like this fun yellow to green to blue. And if it was all orange or purple or magenta, it wouldn't have come out that way. I mean, obviously. Being in the moment, you kind of take a lot of that stuff for granted, but it's really important knowing kind of like there is a structure to all this. And a lot of that has to do with planning it out. Like, as you can see with this painting where I'm at right now, the upper left-hand corner is the only area I've really touched, as opposed to the lower right. And that's because I'm a right hand. And if I would have messed around with that stuff in the lower right-hand corner, chances are I would have dragged my hand through it. And you really got to make sure you pay attention to that kind of stuff, because it really pays off planning it out. Now I'm messing around with Zim's face, kind of playing around with his teeth. I had already painted his teeth kind of like those light colors. I did a very light yellow to blue to pink, which is a fun twist of colors, and I think it works really good for teeth or like things that are opaque, or kind of like eyes or something like that. But anyway, getting into a little bit more, it's with that explosion in the background there. Kind of, I really wanted to emphasize all that. Playing around with magenta in that upper corner. I just really love yellow to orange to magenta. I just think it looks so cool, and it has a really neat energy kind of effect. I want all my paintings to have like a lot more energy emphasis than others, because that's kind of like my style with it. A lot of watercolors, you hesitate laying it on so heavy because you don't want to mess up. And with a lot of my work, I really enjoy the mess ups. I think it adds to it. I think that with art, it's all about expressing yourself, and when you see those mistakes, it makes it more real in a sense. I don't really want to make a perfect picture. I want to make something that's different, something that's fun and unique, so that people can feel what I'm feeling when I'm doing this. Because whenever I'm playing with this, I just get to goof around with it, and I want people to feel that fun, that lightheartedness. With Zim now, I did a lot of that line work. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. It's just what you do with art, you know. You just get lost in the moment. You have fun with it. So I'm doing a lot of line work right now with dark colors, and you only do the dark colors, in my opinion, when it's dry. So right now this painting is pretty dang dry, and I'm messing around with I think that's a size 1 brush, really thin, and I'm going in there doing his hands. Right now I'm messing around with Gur. He's going to be holding the moose, which, you know, if you haven't seen Invader Zim, I highly recommend it. And the new Netflix movie, Into the Florbus, was so fun. I really enjoyed it. But I have Gur here holding a moose, and then I'm going to have Dib in the other corner, kind of like being controlled by Zim, kind of like he's the puppet master, holding them all up, controlling everything. And started off doing his face, which is this light peach color that comes from Grumbatcher. That dried, and I did his arms dark purple into a light blue for his shirt, and then doing a lot more line work on the moose. Once again, you really have to emphasize that dry canvas when it comes to that. I mean, there's only so many techniques you can really communicate, and it's really hard to show through a video what's important to make note of in painting. I feel like it's really important to understand that when you're there, when you're painting it, you really have to understand when the water is there and when it's not, and how wet it is if it's not dry already, because you can create different effects depending on how wet or dry the canvas is with watercolors. With this one, it's really easy to say, I waited for the canvas to dry and thus I did the line work. But there's a lot of details in there with creating gradients that you can create really fun effects. Like that explosion in the background that I do in a lot of my work creates a wonderful feel, and that's when the canvas is pretty damp, really wet. With this now, the canvas is pretty much dry, and I'm doing a lot of after the fact watercolor effects with all the dripping. And I think it creates a fun texturing effect that I really enjoy, because I don't really want to escape the medium. I want to embrace it. I want people to see this is watercolor. This is something kind of different, something fun and full of energy and exciting. Kind of hitting the background, doing the same thing with those drips. I love of that flow it creates. And that's the finished piece right there. Really hope you guys enjoy it, because I certainly did. And once again, please check out Invader Zim. It's a fantastic series. And if you got anything else, just check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Hope you guys have a fantastic one. Bye.